Now what choose?
Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy. I'm part of Starcraft group. In our group we've got Nick Banks, Morgan Bauer, Ryan Courtney, myself, Philip Navarro, Andrew Sands, and Roland Wayne. So our objective was to create an AI to play Starcraft. We're planning on participating in a tournament that's going to be held in September. Our objective was to complete a series of tournaments in this event. The first tournament was a micromanagement. You'll control a selection of units determined by the map for the tournaments. We'll go into some of the detail later. Second was a small scale battle, also a micro map, except you have a combination of units. Third round was a tech limited game. This allowed you to play a full game with limited technology. You could only get a couple of units and limited building types. The fourth round is a complete game where you play the full game, all out, with pure AI. So our accomplishments were mainly focused on trying to get our micro built into the game. Micro is going to handle all of the combat throughout the entire course of a full game, as well as within these smaller tournaments. We achieved ranged unit micro, and the way we attacked most of what we've done is trying to abstract as much as we could throughout any type of unit. So if we have a collection of melee units, we'd abstract to a melee class. And in our case, we did ranged units. So we have an abstraction for a ranged unit class. We created formations so we could have our guys look really cool when they're walking about the map, because that is one tough thing to do in StarCraft natively. You start right-clicking and moving all over the place, making these blobs. But anyway, we got formation in there. Looks really pretty. So we've got a lot of UI features we've implemented, mostly for us to see what's going on once the game is running. We've got showing assignments, paths so that we can see where a unit is trying to move, ranges to show an attack unit's range. This was really helpful for a ranged unit micro. Health to show how much health as we're killing an enemy and ourselves as we're getting killed. Cooldowns to show exactly when we're available to make another attack. And enemy info, cooldown time and where they're attacking. So in the first tournament, where there's 3 different rounds. First round is Dragoons. Here's our strategies for each of the rounds we're going to take. The Dragoons, we decided a double line formation was the best. Have a row or a column of 6 followed by another column of 6. This allows us to maximize our range and attempt to get as many of them in range of one opposing unit as possible. It only took 10 shots to kill an opponent, so we're trying to maximize that and have the other 2 shoot another target. Dragoons, we determined retreating. When you try to retreat, it gives the opponent an extra opportunity to shoot you, so retreating is not a viable option. The next round is Zealots. Here we're trying to maximize surface area, flank the enemy if possible, and micro N-to-1, meaning we try to make always more than one unit attacking one opposing unit. Whenever a unit has low health, retreat them back and pull them back in. That will allow the enemy to either chase and then allow us to pull more units onto him, or just kill the enemy faster in general. The third round is Zerg Air. Our plan, this one you start, with 12 Mutalists and 12 Scourge. Scourge are kamikaze units, do a lot of damage to an air unit. Our plan here is to use 1 Scourge to every opponent Mutalist. Everything that survives, we use our Mutalist and our Mutamicro to destroy. So here, Tournament 2, let's see. This was the micro scale combat. The first map is really a cheese map. There's actually one position on the map where if you get there first, you're guaranteed to win as long as you camp there. So we're planning on cheesing that one. The second battle here is Marine Medics. You're given a collection of Marines and medics. There is high grounds mixed up in an odd-looking terrain. As long as you stick to the high grounds and hope that your opponent's either at the same level is fine. But if they're on the low ground, you have extra opportunities because the low ground has a chance of not attacking, or hitting. Another thing to do is using our medics to scout. We found out that losing a couple medics really means nothing because you die so fast. Tournament 3 is a tech-limited game. Both players play Protoss. You're given full map knowledge, meaning there's a cheating flag enabled for your AI. Everybody has full information of everything. Everybody knows what you're doing. We came up with some interesting strategies here. We found out if we build atop our opponent's ramp, we can cheese them in an interesting way. What we can actually do is create a assortment of shield batteries and constantly regenerate our units, prevent them from moving up the ramp and expanding, and then eventually, once we have more units then, a higher advantage, we can go in and demolish them. And then our Tournament 4 is a full game. This is still completely in development. We need to decide a race for all three, pit them against each other, and find out what we work best with. I want to pass it off to Nick now.
All right, here's a little breakup of our current code. This is, of course, not everything. This is just how the main focus we've been working on is microing our units, and this is how we control all of that. UF Brood Warrior module gets a lot of signals from actual Starcraft when a unit is visible, when it's created, when it's destroyed. We pass all these messages to the encounter manager, which then creates groups of both friendly and enemy units that we use to micro, and we use for, you can see what the enemy's doing, you can work on analyzing the enemy formations, stuff like that. But you can see how it breaks up. There's a base class encounter group that, for the friendly side, we've got a formation group class which just handles just building formations, and from there, friendly group handles just like what target we have, where we want to move to, stuff like that. And then from there, we'll have a different type of class for each speciality. Like for the Dragoons, since they're so specific how they work, we have a class just for that. And then we've got a stacked air group that we can use for mutalisks and possibly a couple other different type of units. And this is pretty much just an overview of how it all works. Got it so we can easily extend it. The encounter manager, when you give it units, it says, okay, I've got lots of Dragoons, I'm going to make a Dragoon group with this. It also does like, okay, there's all these units over here, these units over here, let's create two different groups. One difficult thing that we got to work is enemy groups, grouping them dynamically as the game goes on. So I can say first one unit comes into view, so you create a group for that one unit, and then another unit comes up like higher in the screen, you create another group, but then you realize that's a whole mass of units. Those are just two separate parts of the group, and then as you can calculate how close they are, you can create one big group, as you'll see in our demo. So from that, we'll go to demo. Oh, this is just you have to use a program called Chaos Launcher to run Starcraft. It's easier to do it Windows mode on anything but XP because it really messes up the colors and stuff. So this is just our AI running against the default computer AI. Alright, the little box here shows how we group our enemies. As you can see, using the double line formation. Alright, you see how there's two groups there and they merge? That's one thing we're working on. The red dots and white lines, something Ryan's been working on, is calculating, as you can see, like the end of a line for formations, which will be very helpful later on for identifying, like if we want to attack from the base of a line and work our way up. You don't want to go straight for the middle, so they have the most people in range. As you can see, for the most part, it tries to focus fire. So we've got most units attacking that one guy, and then for the most part, I mean, there's still a lot of randomness in here. We can beat the computer AI pretty easily. Only if it gets lucky and like sends a couple units one way, makes us think we're attacking down, and then the rest comes in and cause problems. But we've got most of those things worked out. But first step of this, we want one volunteer to come pit themselves against our AI, see if they can do anything. Come on. Okay. So you'll get to see the AI side.
Start there. Is it going to pop here?
Yep. After you do this poll, that would be a yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
It's pretty much, you're just going to start on the right side of the map, and you move left.
Yep.